All right, folks. Hey, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Great to see all of us back, not just inside our live trading room. Got Kathleen here, Steve, Brad, Michael, we got Tim, Scott, Roberto. Where are the ladies at here? Where are all the ladies at for trading room? See, so Wendy just before earlier, Leda, there we go. So Kathleen earlier, there we go. Now Jeff, of course, one of the gents, of course, here joining us. But great to have all of us though, like inside our live trading room though, back on social media though. Otherwise, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube's, wherever you may be residing here on the internet streets. But either way, I'll tell you what, just before I got stopped out, shaken out on this SBET, tiny size positions I'm doing just because this stock had popped $1, $2, $5 if the stars could align. But the stars are not aligning. You're looking to see resistance from earlier flip into a support, and you would figure there's a good shot at first. But the more it keeps peppering it, stabbing it, then it's more likely to not just break below it, but flip it into resistance. So, I figure I tried once, but, unless if this pops back up during this meeting, I think that we're going to move on from this trade because, of course, it was so good to us early on today. But what's the trend of this stock? Not just from yesterday or from last week, whatever, but since 10:40 in the morning, since what we deem as reversal hour in the morning down. So, again, we'll come back to it if we need to. Now, let me ask really quick. Lawrence, great to see Jeff as well. Later, Michael, Tim just before as well. Why is SBET even moving to begin with? Do you folks recall why this stock is moving? What's the general belief why this stock has been so hot of late? We've went over this inside just our Traders Talk workshop before in our room. This is not our first rodeo with the stock, of course. But do you folks recall why this is even moving to begin with? What is this linked to? What's the general thing that this is moving off of? What do we got? Tim says Bitcoin. Close enough, we'll go with, right? Got a small crowd for this, but close enough. Ethereum, another cryptocurrency, number 2. And if it's not Ethereum, I thought it was, then I guess it is, Bitcoin. But either way, one or the other. And it had a good pop earlier, but big pullback now. This is not the only stock, though, or company that is now tied to Bitcoin or Ethereum or part of a treasury, with those two. So NAKA here, NAKA, as we just go from the gainers list here from top to bottom down. This trader has been doing pretty well across the afternoon. Nice steady trend. Not a whole lot of volume. This was trading initially until obviously big spike breakout here. The issue on this trade has been that the order book is not filled in as much. So I was hoping to see a better spread, more orders at all these prices on the bid and on the ask. So that's where I'll generally say there's going to be other trades that hopefully the shoe fits perfectly. It's trending well up, but there's also good liquidity. This just doesn't have the liquidity part, so we'll pass on it for right now. We'll pass on this too. This is just a buyout. So, otherwise it's not just the Bitcoin or Ethereum treasury companies that will trade, but there's others. So, TLS has been the hot hand today as well. Just activate my pre-market charts here, because this did pop in pre-market pretty early when Fausto was doing his meeting. So a good pop from there, but only continued to push up higher. And I'll tell you what, I got stopped out on a short here. I tried actually shorting this stock earlier today. Not something I often do, so don't think like to do that going forward. It was just more of a rare situation where I was thinking that there was a case that this would shake as resistance, over and under. So right here provided my trigger entry. But if it's going to make that big move and if it's going to reverse, then let it be pretty soon. And there was just enough momentum to keep this pushing up with higher lows. I think it was even just around here at the time because it was a pretty quick stop out, just small trade. But better to get out there than try and hold on and go counter trend and keep raising the goalposts. This was more of anything a historical level from the daily chart. So if anything, all right, maybe this could hold again as resistance over and under. If it's not doing that, then it's just right back on again with the long. So this has been a slow trade since, but moved up pretty well, up towards 385, 390. Heading into the afternoon, hey, why not put this on our watch list for here? So, I hope that it moves even sharper upward at this point, but I'm not going to try and short this. Just know that now. That was just a one and done deal. So I'm going to put this on our list. Hopefully it's just a continuated long heading into the close. Got my typewriter keyboard here, so pardon me on that. There we go. Get our watch list off to a good start. Now, MSOX, this is, I don't think, this is the pot one, right? This is the pot stock ETF, one of two. SOX here kind of reminds me of SOX S. So I was just thinking maybe it's the semiconductor ones, But no, no, no. So this is moving because this is one of the pot ETFs. This is the other one, though. This one I like a little bit more. Up at, up, well, I guess half as much technically, but trading a lot more volume, good liquidity on the book. But this is an ETF. The reason I'm going over these two is because if you see on the corner right of my trade here, my position manager, you can see that I'm in on two stocks right now. I got stopped out on the SBET just before, as I had said, but just before across the day. And this is where, again, if you want to join us inside our live trading room each and every day, we're right here for you, because otherwise that's where we're posting for all of our students and members here. I just want to show this, if you don't mind. Give me a quick moment, because at 11:39 this morning, of course, Fausto put this on the watch list himself heading into the day today. Alicia asking about it, one of our longtime students here. But, I wrote to you at 11:30, 11:40. I'm like, Tilray's back to its opening print. This is as good of a setup as we can get on these pot stocks. Some other commentary at least afterwards, but there's a reason why I have a line here at 0.79, right? And it took a few stabs at it heading into this time of the day. This is the exact point where I made that comment. Well, hey, it blasted above it. It took a little while for it to move off of it. And it might it's like not holding this as support. Guys, this is like 1 penny down. This is literally a singular penny, 1 penny off the level. That's not that bad of a shake, if you know what I mean, right? Now, I don't want it to drop 5-10 cents, because then it's totally breaking lower lows. But at least here, even from this dip here, it resumed higher lows throughout the duration of the afternoon. And now at this point, this is probably one of the best trades that we have heading into the close here. There could be room for a much larger short squeeze on this trade. So real quick, let me just ask our longtime students, perhaps, if you've been with us for like 5+ years here at CTU, do you recall, Tilray? Does anyone here remember the very first time that Fausto and myself were trading this stock? Because I remember this like the back of my hand. This is a crazy move that I'm about to show you here. So prepare yourselves. Now, this stock has been split probably like 4 or 5 times since, I'd imagine. But yeah, if you recall here, this stock went from effectively 24, 25 bucks up to 300. That's a real move in terms of the percent change. And with that, it led to a hell of a short squeeze day over day, week over week. Now, that's what led us to say, all right, well, maybe it could do that even on a fractional level going forward. Maybe one other day when it has some news, it could pop like that again. Yeah, it did back in 2021, but that's it. The stock has been the biggest tease, one of the biggest teases of all time. And I was saying that to Alicia at least earlier today too. I wrote her back when she was asking about it early in pre-market. I was like, maybe. This was at 8:54 in the morning. I wrote, maybe. The pot stocks are legendary teases. I can go over it in Traders Talk if you'd like, and here we are now. So, yeah, I mean, let me ask, who's in on this trade with me live right now? I'm in on 2 of the pot stocks, but the Tilray is much better in terms of percent gain. Anyone in on this trade? I saw April say before she was in. She's doing pretty good on it here. Scott, you too? If you're on social media, I know no one thinks this actually, but I'm just trying to be comedic even. But if you're on social media and if you think I'm like creating like imaginary friends here, just to let you know, at least Alicia and Scott both here, a couple of us in, and there still could be more room, Jeff. There could still be more room there for you, right? So I'm just making people up. Now, though, with that in mind, the other pot stock here is CGC. I'm in on this trade from 151. Again, we've been talking about these stocks all this morning, especially going into 11:30, 12 o'clock here. So I took a stab on this off of 150. The reason I did was mainly because this stock, we've been seeing it flirt with the 150 level for a little bit back from the other day, trying to break higher this morning in pre-market, retesting that. So I thought there was a better chance for this to move too. This thing's been flat as flat could be. So let's go over, I think there's one more or maybe 2 more other pot stocks you can look at. Aurora, this one's looking better. Let me go over to the daily chart here. Oh, this tonight got a nice gap to fill. Really nice gap to fill on this trade up towards basically $6, 585. I like that. Really like that move. All right, cool. So we're going to add the Tilray trade. Got 1,000 screens up right now. Jeez, I got to clear up this stuff, Josh. All right, we got ACB right here. And then we also got the Tilray trade. What else did we have? I thought there was SNDL. This one, Sundial. This one's also really flat. This might pop. I don't really care for this as much. We got Tilray. I'm in on CGC also, but that was from earlier. But I'd rather us as a collective focus on the ACB trade there too. Now, if the ETFs, if you want to trade those ETFs, what was it? MSOX and then MSOS. I'll put MSOS on our list at least here too. This is the ETF kind of grouping all of the pot stocks together. Now we keep going down though, because again, it's not just the Bitcoins, it's not just the pot stocks. And if you don't like those sectors, there's other trades out here for you too. I mean, AI and specifically BTAI, and certainly not specifically regular AI, because this thing got beat up today. But this thing's been on fire. This BTAI stock from like the beginning of last week, myself and I think, oh my goodness, off the top of my head, I think it could have been Scott, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize if I mix a couple of our students up right now. I'm trying to be quick, but a couple of us in coaching from last week, the beginning of last week, just complete run up here over time. Now, overall though, this stock, I stand true to what I said last week. I saw the forms. They're coming out with a common stock offering, a direct offering of shares. It's going to tank the stock price. I guarantee you that. What I could also tell you though, for a fact, you don't know when they're going to do that, unfortunately. So you're playing like one giant game of musical chairs. It's been moving up well day over day, and you're able to jump in as a day trade. You don't want to swing trade the stock. I'll stand true to that every time here, because the day that we wake up and this thing's down 45%, I'm not going to be doing backflips over here, but it's going to be an I told you so. So it's a great day trading stock, right? Today, took off at the open. All right, pulled back right around 1030. Not a surprise, but it built higher lows. All right, rebroke resistance at 5. Complete entry from there. Breakout beautifully. And now there's a chance for this to go up even more. All right, why not? We'll put this back on our list for the time being, but it is a day trade. This too, geez, BJDX. This thing too has also been on a giant tear. I didn't even realize this until right now. I guess this took off around like 215, 220 Eastern, held over support at $2. Earlier today, this is where you're not going to be able to follow every call out that we make inside our live trading room. I mean that, myself included, Fausto included here too. So you could just see on the BJDX trade right here at 8:50 in the morning. I said it may be done already. It was good off the first call out from $1.80. But that's where I said 190 to 2 would have to hold over as support for the rest of the month. I said rest of pre-market. But point being is that it held over 180, then 190 throughout the day, now trying to make that better move. So this eventually started to play pretty damn nice off of the levels that we had called out earlier, and perhaps even nicer now than ever. So yeah, we're going to put this actually to the top of our watch list, BJDX. All right, let's keep going. What else we got? You know what? I didn't even filter my scanner here, I don't think. Yeah, 1 second. All right, we'll do a quick round two as we kind of go through, but I just kind of refiltered my scan. So trying to weed out all the low volume crap. I mean, right here, PBYI, nice stock. Looks like this has been pushing up more recent here than from even before. Good spread, good book. Why not? PBYI, come on down. LAR, Fausto had called this one out from earlier this morning. This could easily make our watch list. I try and focus on stocks that are either A, not too illiquid, and then otherwise stocks that are not too slow. So this is actually looking great because it's at the high of the day, but it's like almost a little too slow, right? It's a great educational stock. It's a great category 1 trade, but that's the exact reason I'm not putting this thing on our list, right? And I'm even in this one. But that's where we'll keep going down our list for right now. Our scanner. We're done with BMNR for right now. It looks like kind of lower highs. Open trying to go up. This is also pretty slow, but moving up a little bit better than the other one there. This also has a bit of a gap to fill. So if the stars really want to align today or into tomorrow, maybe like a little swing trade up to 250, I'll add it. I'll add it. All right. What else we got here? We got Jamia. Is it Jumia or Jamia? I'll never get it right these days, but Jamia Tech. I think they're African e-commerce company. They're supposed to be like the African Amazon, like company was obviously. Speaking of the company, this thing hasn't been as hot of late. It ended up having a great squeeze back last year, but big gap down, big selling pressure, which led to lower lows. Now it's been on a decent little comeback up here since. So maybe over time, this gap could eventually get filled up to 9, but I wouldn't count on that at least happening anytime soon. We're not going to put this on our list for this afternoon, at least. We got Wolf, WULF, not much there. KSS, Cole's back on up here. Okay. All right. Had some crazy short squeeze like a month ago here, back in, well, I guess a few weeks ago, back in late July, pop drop. And it was mainly one pre market morning, then just dumped off on this candle here. So, little update today. I don't mind it. We'll add it. Now, I'm kind of thinking, real quick, folks, let's just say if we're talking about like the meme stocks, and if we're talking about some day trades that might miraculously pop if the stars could align, is there another clothing company, brand, store, you name it, that's been in the news of late? What do we got here, folks? Do a little mental math here. If we got Kohl's on our watch list, I mean, who knows? We don't know if it's going to be moving or even up right now. I'm just thinking out loud here. I have not looked at this trade yet, but American Eagle, right? All right, it's up a little bit. Not up enough for me to be as excited about it, but if the stars could align for this, if the stock chart has good genes, all right, I'm done. I'm done. All right, I'm done. But seriously, if this ends up making a pretty good move, then I would love to try and retrade this stock. But for right now, I'd rather focus on stocks that are at least up 5%. This Kohl's trade doing pretty good. All right, before I get some tomatoes thrown at me here, let's hop over to the losers list in just a moment here. TSLL, maybe there's a chance Tesla tries to pop right now. What happened? Wow, that's why Chuck was calling this out earlier, and a couple of us, IO and Q, had a crazy pop before. Not really too focused on it now. All right, I think that we will hop over to the loser side here, folks. Seeing if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. There we go. Our volume's right there. I figured this was going to be a freak show. I knew that this was going to happen. I stayed away from this thing with like a 10-mile pull. I mean that because, listen, it ended up getting halted out of nowhere, like right before the 8 o'clock move hit in pre-market. It reopened up at 8:01. All right, like we don't know what happened that led to the halt even. So it would be a nice thing if this just kept popping, or even when it made a slingshot back up. Maybe there's a chance this can fully recover and break higher highs. But once this comes back down, just move on from it. Put it through the paper shredder. That's it. Just we're not dealing with downtrend, right? I mean, let me just ask really quickly before I move forward. When a stock is just trending down, not even this much, but even just a little there after that move, who's winning that temporary battle? When a stock is pulling back, trending down, we talked about this just before in our live workshop. There we go. I got a few of us that like my corny jokes. There we go. I appreciate you folks. Later, Roseanne, Mike. Yeah, the sellers winning that battle. So we stayed away from this thing completely. Stop. That OMI trade not looking half bad as a short. Easy to borrow on my platform even. Good spread, good order book. Probably have larger support at 450, which right there you do. But as far as a tradable stock goes, that could be a short. Oh, okay. Well, that'll explain it. Basically, lows back around 240. I think all-time low could be around 240. I probably have to go back even more on the long-term graph. But right around 240-ish, you happen to have some like long-term support. But it just broke below this. This looks like a Fausto flag. If you're on the monthly chart, holy shit, look at this. Look at this here. Just lower highs, maintained support here this whole time. And then just recently had broken support today. Oh, and this was ripe for the taking too, because it was right there, a little pop drop. Oh my God. Imagine like getting that short off in time. That would have been beautiful. Well, hey, we might not be too late. There still could be more room, at least for this afternoon. So I have no problem just adding this on our watch list. Nice trade as a short. I don't think it's down enough percentage-wise to guarantee the dead cat bounce. Don't try and look for a dead cat bounce, at least initially. Now, when I say that, stock will have to prove itself to you. So, I wasn't expecting that to be the case with AI today, but this did make a pretty good move after a little while, right around 9:40 in the morning. 10 minutes after the open, at least. You wait. All right, started to prove itself. Popped a little higher high, maintained it for a while there, but now the sellers are resuming the battle here. They're winning the battle again. So pass on the AI here for now. The Tilray trade's still doing pretty good, right? We're at like 88 cents on that Tilray trade, so that's up a lot already from where we had jumped in. Hims down today, maybe that could be a short. TMC, Chinese stock doesn't really often move in the afternoons as much. That might just about do it here, folks. I mean, the last one I said I would kind of look at was the hymns. Let's just see that on the way down. Kind of staticky. Not really like a necessity to put this on our list. Not down more than 5%. I guess that ETF was a little bit there, but that's all. All right, folks, let me know if there's anything else looking good here before we call it quits here. Not calling it quits, I should say. If you're on social media, would love for you to stay on board with us. Just go right down to the link scrolling down below in blue. Got one of our students there, Leda, joining us on simulcast as always. Actually, Sharon, great to have you joining us as well. Sharon, one of our members in our room. Yeah, Tilray was insane, wasn't it, Leda? You were there with us back then. I know Michael was, Grant was, that just wrote to me beforehand. Anthony, shout out Anthony, just joining us on the YouTubes this afternoon. Great to see you, Anthony. If you were a part of our workshop earlier, hope that you took part. If not, it's on YouTube right there for you as well. It's like one of our most recent live streams, so make sure to check that out. This is not a meeting, Anthony, as much as like teaching. This is just a quick run through of our scanners. We're building up our watch list for our members and students exclusively inside our live trading room. We did a live workshop I conducted earlier today. So that workshop was going over a medley of different trades that had moved from earlier, like giving you real logic and reasoning for why these stocks are moving the way they are, like teaching. So this is just quick little, run through to build a list up. We're going to head back to our live trading room in just a moment. We're going to trade there. But otherwise, as far as topics or suggest strategies, we have our own strategy that we teach you and other members joining us, whether you're on social media or again a student inside our room. So look forward to having you with us over time, Anthony. But if you're a new member joining us on social, hey, just continue to just join us here live each and every morning, each and every afternoon. I'll pop up that social tag one more time right here, but down below corner left at Cyber Trading You, and we'll be right back here tomorrow morning doing the same thing. All right, folks, I think that's pretty much it. What else we got from Linda? What are meme stocks? Well, meme is basically a photo with a little funny caption. It's what people send each other online. It's like kind of a form of like communication almost, little memes that you could send people. Some things are funny. Meme stocks are stocks that retailers on the social media channel Reddit would always talk about back 4 or 5 years ago, back when GameStop had popped, back when AMC had popped. Those are trades that they actually made documentaries about recently here, right? So, definitely look into that on your own accord. It's just another way of saying stocks that can make like big potential across a day or two, like pop and drop stocks. We can kind of loosely nickname them as. All right. Here, lastly, I'll check out Benzinga Pro. We'll just look at this before we wrap up here. Actually, my scanner, I can tell, is kind of broken. Doesn't always look like this at all. So probably got some little malfunction here on my scans. All right, folks, that'll just about do. Again, if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., again, we'll be back live tomorrow morning. Look forward to having you join us there or otherwise down below in blue, ctu.co/trial. We'd love to have you join us inside our live trading room each and every day of this week. But we'll be back right here tomorrow. And again, if you're joining us inside our room, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll be back on in just about 10 or so minutes here, full about hour, 55 minutes worth of audio commentary, wrapping you up going into the closing bell. All right, folks, we'll be back soon.